me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul?
Trying to find my soul.
Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier.
Street soldier.
Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask.
I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say.
This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement.
Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
What got my juices flowing tonight was not a scripted show, but a new reality show. And, and let me just say, Q, I have refused to watch reality shows because, to me, they're horrible. In particular, and we've done a Street Soldiers show on reality shows, and, I don't watch them. All of these shows, most of these shows revolve around ratchet acting black women. Of course, I'm referring principally to Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop, and of course, the housewives of every city in the United States, as I said before. But the one that really just irked me to bring this topic up was they have a new reality show called Sorority Sisters. Has anybody seen Sorority Sisters? Well, Lady and Estelle and I have. It's the new one. Apparently, it's by the same. I guess it's a woman. I don't know who it is. Creator of Love and Hip Hop. It is about sorority sisters. And there are many sororities, obviously, in the United States, both of all persuasions. But this is about black women sorority sisters.
One sorority, or
well, it is ostensibly about. I think in the original show, well, let's put it, there are 4 black sororities, actually 4 black national sororities: Delta Sigma Theta, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Zeta Phi Beta, Sigma Gamma Rho. Now, I understand that in the early shows, and I've only seen one, I didn't see the pilot, so to speak, it had maybe, I don't know if it had all of them, at least 3 of them, in maybe all 4 in the original show. But as they've gone on, at least the one episode I saw, there were primarily 2 were featured, Delta Sigma Theta and Alpha Kappa Alpha. In fact, it was overwhelmingly Delta Sigma Theta. I think there were 6 characters, 5 of whom were Deltas, one of whom which was an AKA. And what really bothered me was, let me just put it like this, it's as if the sorority sister theme is a prop for more ratchet behavior. In fact, actually, to me, all the shows are the same show. Okay, but it's ratchet black woman behavior. Now, I'm saying that again, ratchet black woman behavior. Now, mind you, these sorority sisters are not teenage girls. They've been women in their early 20s. They are grown women who own businesses, educated.
They're not in school.
No, they're not in school. No. These are grown women. I'm saying between 30 and 40 maybe, or at least 25 and 35, who own businesses, are, quote, best and brightest, best educated women. And my bottom line is that it's just the same show. In Love and Hip Hop, the prop is hip hop. In Basketball Wives, the prop is being the wife of a basketball player. In Sorority Sisters, the prop is the sorority. But you could actually, as far as I'm concerned, it's the same show 3 or 4 times. All on VH. When did VH1 become the proprietor of our ratchetness?
Well, VH1 has been a reality TV station for a minute. I think they're equal opportunity. I could be wrong, but I think they will take ratchet in any form, any color. But maybe you know something.
I have seen other ratchet shows. The problem is most of the shows that depict us are the ratchet shows. And again, we don't have a rounded piece.
And this is a new show, right?
It's a new show.
In December on VH1.
Yes, it did.
What I'm seeing here online is that it's been controversial since its debut.
Yes.
Yes. Let's see. It's got boycotts.
Yes.
Petitions.
Yes.
Calls for boycotts.
Yes.
I guess. Several advertisers have removed their commercials from the show.
Yes.
After being urged to by disgruntled viewers.
Yes.
And
all of that.
Members of the cast say they've complained about receiving death threats.
That also,
wow.
and they did talk about that. The cast members did talk about it on the show. Now, what got me here with this was that Lady Estelle is a member of Delta Sigma Theta. I know a lot of Deltas. I know a lot of AKA. I know them all. I know the history of the organizations. Both of these organizations have been around for 100 years, and they have all cultivated. They have put a lot of blood, effort, energy into cultivating a very different image. In fact, I would say the opposite image of what is portrayed on this show. And let me say this. They go so far on the show, and remember, to reveal secrets of the organizations that only someone in the look at Q would know. I mean, when you get in these organizations, it's very, 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 very special. I would say very, very sacred. And there are certain things that you're never supposed to repeat to anybody but another member of the organization. It's definitely not for public display and certainly not for public ridicule. Mm-hmm. And I sat there and watched this, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Now, you can imagine what these women who have put 100 years... I mean, 100 years. When was Delta founded?
1913. In fact,
right?
Our date, our Deltaversary is coming up on the 13th.
Yeah. You see the way she says. You see how the way she even says it. It's a lot of pride.
Right.
And I'm watching this, and these women now are members of the organization, and they're like, "Do you know what? How dare you? How dare you?" And it got me to think. Is there nothing sacred at all? I mean, come on. I mean, come on, ladies. And they're basically doing it. I know what they're doing it. They're doing it for their moment of fame. They're doing it for their little whatever check they're going to get. And I'm sure they have somehow rationalized in their minds, I want to say a bad word on the radio.
Don't do that.
I'm even going to hint the bad word, but those rest of those... the 100 years of pride and dignity and self-respect, and you can rationalize yourself into doing anything,
But it's just a different world we live in now. We're in the anything goes world.
That's why I'm at. Is there anything that is sacred? And so I got to just think about it, Q. Think about it. I've thought about this. Obviously, the church isn't sacred because. We have preachers of L.A., which is like, come on, the church has been out. Look, you gonna see Selma? Who's leading the march? Who's leading the protest? The church. With the church has led us through. We shall overcome. Times, but to these, these movies, whoever these people play these people and these writers and producers, they've now denigrated that. There's nothing sacred. History and culture is not sacred, because according to that famous historian Lil Wayne, who last year said beat the P up like Emmett Till. So obviously history and culture is not important, Man, we got tons of evidence that women aren't important. As put the Molly in the drink. So is there anything?
Do you remember the last time we did this topic? Is anything sacred? It was 4 or 5 years ago. Remember? It was an elder woman in Oakland that had got assaulted.
Elders aren't sacred. Yeah. Elders aren't sacred. Mm-hmm. And is there anything? And maybe the bigger question is, should there be? Should there be things that are just off limits? Should there be things that are no-nos? Should there be and especially when it comes to entertainment, those that you got that reaction because these people, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? And you should. I've talked to Lady Estelle, and you can speak for yourself how you felt when you saw oh man, I'm like, come on now. I mean, are our lives sacred? I mean, the whole the sign for the protest is Black Lives Matter. Well,
unless it's on a reality show.
Unless it's on a reality show. Well, unless we kill each other. Well, I mean, it's shooting of 4 young men, right? Obviously, the Black lives that matter to these shooters. So it seems that Black lives are something. The only thing that's sacred is if police are involved. And then, how dare you? How dare you? And it's just, to me, just sickening. So I'm just posing the question to you. Are there some things that just should be off limits? Like elders, leave old lady alone. Leave them alone. That's your grandmother, right? It just made me want to throw up watching that. I mean, every time I think we will not stoop any lower, we get lower. And if you're not in a sorority, you won't get this. If you're not, but wow, all I could think of was 100 years is being undone by one show that's seen by millions of people, and that's how they are. And the thing is, they're just being used. The sororities are being used as a prop. I mean, if you saw it, it's just. Oh, God.
I'm reading an article on the Washington Post. Obviously, you're not the only person who feels this way, Doc. There's an article called "Why Black America Hates Sorority Sisters," and it talks about all the protests. There's actually been a big backlash. I hadn't heard about the show, but I guess it's not just you.
Hey, so you want to say some words? 'Cause I'm sick. I'm like, I want to throw up. Hear the quote. I am ashamed. I am like, come on. Have we no shame? I guess. We'll do anything for an almighty dollar. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just.
No, I know that you're passionate about it because the first time you saw it, you called me up and said, "I am sorry." He was so apologetic. I am bad. So sorry that your organization has been completely denigrated 100 years, and in one show, this kind of thing has come out. And I mean, we fight for so many things. And like you said, when do Black lives really matter? How long are we going to exploit our people? And we find the struggle goes on. I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter how wonderful your life is. You look up and a minute later, you're in a struggle. And I say you, and I'm talking about people of color. They're in a struggle. And then we create one. And we make it, we persist instead of doing everything we can to lift up each other. And yes, the shooting over the weekend. But when you take a group of... I don't know, because see, I am devastated by it. People are human beings, and we have our lives, our behaviors. But when you, in the name of an organization that is full of college-educated women who came together to help make a difference, to serve the community, to lift up the community, to support and build and rebuild our society and our community. And then you see what's being televised. And when I heard one man say that show, and he was not African American, oh my God, he said that show was worse than Love and Hip Hop. And And the fact that you say means you've seen Love and Hip Hop.
There's a character or a person, on Love and Hip Hop, KMEL. Anybody? Yeah. And I'm reading this Washington Post article, and this is her quote. She had something to say about this show.
Oh, even a ratchet,
she said,
a ratchet character on another ratchet show.
I'm gonna read her quote. She says, "I'm a Delta. I have acted a fool on TV, but at the same time, I didn't do it with a Delta Sigma Theta tatted on my back in front of people. You don't get on TV in the name of women that came before us and do what you are doing." That's her quote.
And I've seen Love and Hip Hop, and I've seen KMEL, and I've seen her, and I was like, really? Okay. But she wasn't performing and doing what she was doing in the name of an organization that I hold sacred. And all that it stands for, I hold that sacred.
It has been pretty much condemned by the national, when I would say Pan-Hellenic, which is all the Black Greek organizations have pretty much condemned the show. And in one episode I saw, they actually had their own turf issue going between the AKAs and the Deltas on the show. So in other words, we got beef, right? I mean, in the name of ratchetness, and see, and that goes. It's just a prop, another prop to show our women in their worst possible light. I mean, it's not, you said Coretta Scott King. It's not Coretta Scott King. It's not Michelle Obama. It's.
I have a question for you, Dr. Marshall.
Yes.
You just said our women. What did you mean when you said that?
Our sisters.
Okay.
Our sisters. I mean, all the shows do that, but this hits me particularly hard because I am an African-American man, and I'm sick of seeing. See, we don't get on a lot of shows anyway, right? And when 99% of the shows show women, and these are the educated ones. I mean, you want to go out in the hood and find, go on YouTube, and you can find they got some stuff on YouTube. I wouldn't let it, it looked like a bunch of dogs, But I mean, these are the educated college business women, and they are no different than them, apparently. And you're talking about millions of people watching this. So, people don't know anything about. Oh, that's what the Greek organization is all about? It's just, I'm going to tell you what it is, and I will conclude it. It's the Minstrel Show 2015. That's all it is. It's the Minstrel Show. And who's participating in it? Us. Us. We're acting in it. We're this. But by point, there's got to be a point. There's certain things we just not going to do. There was an actress years ago called Cicely Tyson. She's still around, right? I think so.
Yes, she is.
There were roles that she wouldn't take. I mean, I'm not taking that because she thought about a bigger picture. It wasn't about a paycheck for her.
Again, no, Doc, our times have changed.
That's why I'm doing the show.
And when you said, for the check, I mean, I'm sure everybody likes getting the check.
Or the fame.
But I don't think it's I tend to think we are celebrity obsessed. Fame is very important in our culture right now. Whatever fame, any way you can come by it. Maybe even more important than money, because sometimes you're thinking you can flip fame into money anyway later. But we just are, we are celebrity obsessed culture.
And how far
and that's how a lot of people. That's how we get value.
And I'm asking, is there a point where you say, I'm not touching that?
You said celebrity impressed or oppressed?
Obsessed.
Yes. Is there a point where we say no?
Impressed?
No.
Too.
No. And so far, and that's, it hasn't been the church. It hasn't. It just, there's no. So the question is there anything sacred, and should there be? Are there certain things that we just don't go there? Obviously, history and culture. Lil Wayne said what he said, and he didn't think about it. And then here's the problem. They act like I got the problem. What's your problem, Dr. Marshall? What's your problem? So I'm talking about your grandma. What's the problem? What's your problem? What's my problem? Don't you know? I mean, I did. So, yeah, that's my question. Obviously, I think the question is there anything sacred? And the bigger question is, why are you making such a big deal out of this? Should there be? If Black Lives Matter, you said they did. So I guess, but do they only matter when it's the police? I got 4 brothers who are dead. I mean, ain't nobody going to march over that. I already know that. That ain't gonna happen. Those brothers' lives must not be sacred, okay?
Well, or is it true that their lives don't matter because they weren't shot by the police?
That's a wonderful question.
I think they matter. I just think it's harder for people to deal with that. I don't think it's that it doesn't matter to people. It's a harder thing to march for.
And the question would be why? Question would be why? Because this brother called in and said, when we did the show on that a few years ago, it ain't none of my business unless it's the police. Then it's my business. But either way, you got dead. You got dead brothers. All right, so yeah, there should be a whole bunch of stuff that's sacred, and there's certain things that should be off limits. For me, obviously, history. Lil Wayne, you are a joke for saying that. I'm for Radio Street Soldiers. The topic tonight: is there anything sacred? Is there anything sacred? Is there anything off limits? And should there be? And this was prompted by me actually hearing about and then watching the new VH1, they call it a reality drama, Sorority Sisters. And I'm going to read a little bit of this article that Soul passed on to me. It's very, very, very well named. If you've seen one of the shows, Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, Mob Wives, and it's not necessarily VH1, Preachers of LA, all of those shows, they generally follow the same formula, although it's male preachers and I believe men and Preachers of Los Angeles. Drama and petty feuds played up for the camera, and that's a nice way of putting it. But this one has really awakened Black America because the network's newest show has dragged Black Greek-led organizations into the miry world of reality TV. The decision has poured vinegar into deep historical wounds in the Black community and has prompted protests and calls for advertisers to abandon the show. We've always been angry, says Robin Caldwell, who helped organize the efforts to boycott the show. This is just the straw that broke the camel's back. All right, the show follows the lives of 9 women. Now, I've only seen 6, I haven't seen 9. Who are members of the 4 sororities that comprise the Divine 9 Black Greek organizations: Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, Zeta Phi Beta, and Sigma Gamma Rho. Most of them were founded by Black college students at the turn of the 20th century. For that reason, history of Black Greek life is intrinsically tied to the fight for civil and human rights. Okay? As any member of these organizations will eagerly tell you, Martin Luther King Jr. was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. Ruby Dee was a member of Delta Sigma Theta. Zora Neale Hurston was a member of Zeta Phi Beta. And, there's a whole bunch of folks who were in my fraternity who are also activists. So when VH1 decided to apply its tried-and-true formula to take viewers inside the world of Black sororities, the reaction was overwhelmingly negative. Critics, and I'm one of them, say the show Sorority Sisters couldn't come at a worse time, with Black Americans fighting to draw attention to the racial biases and inequities through the Black Lives Matter protests sparked by the deaths of several Black men in confrontation with white police officers. So, there's more. I will say one more thing. Sorority Sisters follows the women years after their stints in schools and appears to use organizational affiliations as a means of separating them into warring social groups. That's a nice way of saying they pitting the sisters against each other based on their sorority affiliation. There has been little mention so far of the sorority significance and place in the history of the American civil rights movement. That's why the show is another blow, and maybe the biggest blow. Nobody liked any of them, but this is one. Oh hell no, you've gone too far. You've gone too far. No. Now I would just say the woman who had put this together is American television executive, Haitian American television, Mona Scott Young, who says basically that, I sleep well at night. That's what she said. She hasn't spoken out publicly about sorority sisters, but in the past she's been a vocal defender of what her critics call ratchet reality television. I'm fine with it, Scott said in 2013 when asked about the depictions of Black women on her shows. I sleep good at night. So, this is not, they say, they're doing it to us. How many times we heard that? They're doing it to us. It's not owned by. Okay, yeah, honey, this is you. This is a Haitian American black woman who's put this.
Is Mona Greek?
I don't know. It doesn't say, and I don't think it would even matter to her.
Curious.
And this is, to me, it's just the latest thing. And there's got to be something that's sacred. And I alluded to history's not sacred. Lil Wayne beat it up like you used Emmett Till. Emmett Till sacred. Are you out of your mind? Of course, the church has long been off limits, and of course these reality show preachers. And I haven't even watched that show, but they say it is hood and ghetto and ratchet as hell. And basically we're just props. And I'm gonna just stick with the women thing. Right. The women are props. All these things. Hip hop is used as a prop, and the basketball is used as a prop, and now sorority sisters is used as a prop to show ratchet behavior, which may be the only behavior that they think that I guess. That's it as far as we're concerned. So. All right, let's get to the phones. I want to know, and I'm making too much of a big deal out of this. I mean, shouldn't some things be sacred? Shouldn't some things be sacred? That's me, and I believe a whole bunch of stuff would be sacred. That it should not be trivialized, or that's not even the word I'm looking for. Just made fun of in this manner. I mean, there's certain things that'd be. The only word I can use is sacred. I remember when a church got shut up a few years ago in Richmond, California. You shut up a church? Oh, hell no. What? But now, as the soul said, unfortunately, anything goes. So let's go to the phones. 1-800-765-3437. Old school doc is like, hell no. I do not like the mental show. You have gone too far. Let's go to line 1 and talk to Frisco. Frisco. All right.
Hey, good night, Street Shows. How y'all doing?
I'm fine, sir. Am I off my rocker here? Or?
No, you are not. Actually, you're right on, my brother. Right on. And the thing is, I don't know if you remember when Nicki Minaj did the thing about Malcolm X, and then Russell Simmons.
That's right. That's right.
And I mean, this is like if we're going to do this to black people, and it broadcasts all over the world. Yep. It seems like we're going back to the Amos and Andy step and fetch, blackface type of stuff, and that we're doing anything for money. Blacks are doing anything for money. Yeah. So you right on. You should be upset, and I think all African Americans should be upset, and we should be tired of the murders, and the death in our community. We're killing each other. But like you said, but when the police do it, everybody want to get up in arms, run around and get mad and get upset, but we're doing these things to ourselves. And how can any person from these sororities, like you said, they fought for civil rights, and these societies are supposed to be to build our community and to show young black women how to conduct themselves as women. Because you got so much hip hop dressing like prostitutes, doing stuff they ain't supposed to be doing. But sororities are supposed to teach you how to be a woman, how to conduct yourself on all levels. You see what I'm saying? So you right on, Doc Marshall. You and the crew, y'all right on. Should be upset. We all should be upset. We should be marching against that show. We should be boycotting. I think we should get back to boycotting because I think that's very important. And I think black people should stop doing any and everything for some money.
I agree with you, brother. And here's the most hurting thing to me. It's a sister who's the producer of the show.
Well, we've always, even with jazz and jazz back in the day, when a jazz artist who's African American would make a song, but then the white community would take it and it would blow up, and we would get no royalties for it. We would get no production points for the stuff that we wrote. So this is the same thing going on since back in the day when jazz started, all the way up until hip hop. Because most of the hip hop artists that are famous, they don't got the rights to their songs, music, or nothing.
I would think if this woman felt like you and I, she would say, "I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that." Nah, come on now, especially not to this group. You want to fool with basketball? Okay. You want to fool with hip hop? Okay, there's a whole lot of craziness going on in hip hop anyway. But this is not these organizations. That's not them.
Man.
So wow. I mean, you're misrepresenting them. I guess that's what I'm looking for.
Right. Okay, they are misrepresented, but I got to say this, Brother Marshall. Now, when Russell Simmons did what he did about Harriet Tubman, he turned around and apologized, but it's too late. The image is already out there.
Absolutely. And, Russell, I don't even, if I start talking about Russell, I'd be here all night. I mean, it's a mess. But thank you, man. I'm glad, you don't think I'm out of my mind. And, there are certain things, I think you agree with me, there are certain things that are sacred. And should be that way.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you. All right, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Let's go to line 3 and talk to JD. JD, all right, you can take Doc on how you feel about this.
Simple, man. The answer is no. There is nothing sacred anymore. It's funny that this is a topic I just turned on the radio because I had a semester and we're talking American Indian religion, and that was actually a topic of discussion for our one of our classes, and it was pretty interesting.
Oh, it was actually a topic for your class.
Yeah, but we were talking about American Indians, but we were relating it to real life too, and nowadays.
Right.
But we were talking that was actually the exact topic of probably a whole week of discussion. Is there anything sacred anymore? Because if you know a little about the Indians, that they held a lot of things sacred. They lived their life in a sacred way.
Oh, absolutely.
Like a simple example would be this one called the Devil's Tower, somewhere in the mid-country. I forgot where, like in the Dakotas. And to them, it's like the sacred mountain where their Jesus or their God came down from them to this mountain. And now it's being occupied and being charged for climbers to climb. And they've asked for 1 month. Hey, 1 month, can you just not climb here? Because Americans are so constitutional, it's all right. I get it. But, how far does, how far can humor go? How far can, your right overrule everybody else's right? I mean, where's there a balance? Where's there a negotiation? Where's there like, hey, I give you 11 months to climb my church, and you can't give me 1 month to pray to my church,
Yeah.
So the answer is no. There is nothing sacred anymore, and it's sad. But
yeah, I mean, there was a time. Again, I'm old school. Elders were sacred. You didn't mess with old. Well, I mean, there was so much you just didn't do. There was a lot. Some, even though we were oppressed, there was some dignity, some self-respect. You didn't mess up in church. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff you just didn't do. And it's just like, what does what's the great line in the Raisin in the Sun where she said, "Where is the bottom?" I don't know. And this last show just got me just going crazy because there's no way that this should have been off limits. There's just no way these proud organizations that have been denigrated and used as a prop for the depiction of black women, for the ratchet behavior this woman wants to depict and make her fame on. So, I'm glad you agree with me.
Man, honestly, I agree with almost everything you say. Like, I've never even seen the show, never heard of the show, but when you were talking about it, I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Because, man, honestly, like, they stretch it. They want to see how far they can get with it. They throw you this, they throw you that. And, reality TV, basketball-wise and all that, there's a part of you that's funny, a part of you that says this is wrong. But then they just take it to a whole new level.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate your call.
New low level.
Appreciate your call. Let's go to line 5. Let's go to Gabriella. Gabriella, thank you for giving us a call tonight. Is there anything sacred? And bigger question: should there be?
I think to people in the United States, I mean, that's definitely questionable whether anything is sacred, but I find it interesting. So I actually am a national board member for my sorority, and I volunteered that time after I graduated. And when I saw that show, my jaw dropped a little bit because in my experience, especially dealing with, Divine Nine and other, IFC and Panhellenic organizations, they had a TV show some time ago. I think it was Kappa Kappa Gamma and sororities like that. I really wasn't surprised, to be honest, but when I saw that, I kind of gasped. I was like, oh, my God, what is going on in the world? And my position, I'm actually the director of expansion, so for me, that's a super sacred thing, your intake process and stuff like that. So I'm surprised the organization itself has not stepped in to say this is not okay, and this needs to come off the air, because legally I would assume that they probably got some standing to do that.
I watched it and they said something, and it was what I saw. It was something that only Deltas do, and they just I'm not even gonna say it because it ain't my place to say it, and they just made a joke out of it. A joke. I mean, it's you can't use us as a prop like that. Certain things you can't use my mama, you can't use my grandmama, you can't use my history, you can't use it to make your this to me is sacred, and there's certain things that's right. Dignity and self-respect, and we seem to have lost it all. I mean,
But see, one thing I thought was interesting when you guys were talking about how the woman who created the show says that she sleeps just fine at night. I mean, for me, that's cognitive dissonance, because there's no way at the end of the day when you have to look back at your life and think about what you've done and what you've accomplished, like what your legacy is, that you're honestly going to feel good. You might sleep at night because you drink some ZQL or find a way.
Because you live in a big house and you're driving 4 cars, huh?
Right. It's not really because you feel good about what you're doing. Right. And I think that we as Americans have totally lost that sense of community where we can say, okay, my elders, yes, I respect you because you're part of the community, you helped raise me, but now everybody's out for themselves, or they think they are. And so there's no bond. There's no genuine bond of brother and sister just amongst community members, regardless of race. I'm multiracial, and so that's a tricky thing for me. But there is no existence of that anymore, and so bonds that you have with somebody, even your husband, even your best friend, comes with this understanding that there's supposed to be some kind of explicit benefit. And when you lose that explicit benefit, then it's like, okay, well, whatever. No different than the sisterhood bond. When you come into your organization, you earn your letters. Okay, there's something that's supposed to come along with that, that's inherent in that. And now it's like, well, I mean, for $50, I could say a little something about what I went through or what, it.
And you're right. I just can't see how these women didn't think, about all those. But, why should I be surprised? People don't think about, the struggles of the past and all that they gave for us. The drug dealers ain't thinking about the effects they're having on families. Nobody thinks about anybody else. Nobody thinks about selling drugs to a pregnant woman and, whatever, I'm making my money. I guess, thou shalt get that money on is the number one thing in the world, and I don't give a damn about nobody else. But this one just like, at some point, just like we said about the police thing, enough is enough. No, we gotta say we got. If you're gonna do that, you gotta do it everywhere. As far as I'm concerned, you can cover your right, but you're gonna be totally exposed. And I think the inside job is the hardest job anyway. This is all an inside job. That's all it is. It just made me sick. It just really made me. When Lil Wayne made that comment about Emmett Till, I was livid. He lucky he wasn't around me. I don't care. I'd have took all his teeth out myself, and he didn't have to worry about. Now, because you can't do that, man. How you gonna do that? You know anything about Emmett Till? Okay, all right. You're gonna make me curse on the air.
It's that lack of connection, right? Because if anyone had a connection to that person or to that history, that story, then they wouldn't feel the urge not to say that thing. But
I do. I like to put his butt back at the time Emmett Till was walking, and then let him feel about that. You see, walk in my shoes. You lucky you even got a recording contract because it wouldn't let black people do nothing back then and there. But I'm too amped, and when I do that, I have to breathe and calm down, and we're going to break.
Well,
Thank you.
What I have on my phone is I have the BBC app because for me in my profession, I like to look at what's going around the world, just kind of in a snapshot from time to time, and that to me is truly humbling because we as Americans brag about really the most trivial things that's a big deal to us. And when you look at the BBC, I mean, you're talking about Pakistan, 50 people getting blown up in a bus, or in Nigeria, the whole thing with Boko Haram, all of these things. It's completely off our radar as Americans, most of us at least.
For them, they don't they don't care about community. They don't care about that. They don't care what these little kids see. All they care about is money. They have no dignity, and they don't care nothing about anything. And so this is a bigger picture of being sacred, and this is the one that triggered it off. Anytime you may have heard me, and you just heard me mention Anytime, I'll tell you who he is here. Yes, the church isn't sacred anymore, right? No, preachers of L.A., okay? history and culture isn't sacred. There's nothing that's sacred in, how
what
low
does
can you
sacred
go?
Mean?
Yes.
What does sacred mean?
Would you please tell us, Lady Estelle?
Things that are sacred. What do you mean? Sacred, dedicated to a purpose, tied to God, religion. Sacred, inspired by dignity, wisdom, and dedication. Things that are sacred. You know what? Our lives are sacred.
Well,
we completely disregard that.
Yes.
Forget, don't even know that our lives are sacred.
Until the police do something we think violates that. And then our lives are sacred. But the shooting, these 4 brothers that got shot, well,
their lives are sacred.
But we know that.
Right.
We know that. But as his brother told me to him, it ain't none of his business. He said it right here on the show. You were here that night? He said, it's only my business if it's the police. That's what he said. Now, just so happens in the studio is a very sacred, couple of very sacred folks. Very wonderful folks. What can I say?
Yeah, and I know that sounds crazy. You should have seen that little look on his face. It's like,
because he is.
Your lives are sacred.
But he's sacred for the right reasons.
Yes.
Sacred right because it's all about, it's the opposite of everything that, it's the opposite of hood, it's the opposite of ghetto, it's the opposite of ratchet, it's the opposite of grimy. It's all about self-respect and dignity, and he's been promoting, and he's not ashamed to do it. And he brought Anytime Barriolas in the studio. Great to see you. Looking Barriola-esque. I like that jacket, bro.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Where can I pick one of those up? But later. We'll do that later.
Here in the city, man.
Good to see you, man.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful.
Excellent topic, too.
You got the cut?
Got the cut, yeah. Thank you.
But I don't want us to get off track.
Oh, we don't get off track. Okay.
I want us to stay with this topic, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts or comments are. I don't know if you've seen the show, Sorority Sisters.
Yes.
Really?
I've seen it. I watched it, I thought it was going to be something that would give you like a historical content or, maybe spark interest for those who are young and maybe want to know more about sororities, more about the history. And I came to find that it was very similar to everything else that's on VH1, and what they focus on is the negativity and the confrontation, and I don't know if it's supposed to be a show based off of conflict resolution or what it's supposed to expose.
It's not.
But it seems like everything's for sale. Everything is for sale.
Yeah.
I mean, you touched on it. Religion, history,
culture, everything.
Culture, especially black culture has been for sale. Let's not even get on that topic. But everything is for sale, and I think it's only going to get worse.
It'll get. They will continue to do it as long as we allow it to be done.
You know what? That's an excellent point because everything is cyclic, right? I think there was a point where we're kind of reaching a point maybe where we're sick of seeing some of that stuff on TV, which is why a lot of the drama series like Scandal and people started resorting to Netflix and watching a lot of those shows, House of Cards. People are trying to maybe escape the reality TV and get back to, when we were young and watching adventurous movies and scripted series.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's a change there. I don't know. My wife made an excellent point about some of because I'm all about being fair and balanced, and she did make an excellent point about why are we always so concerned with showing the positive side of our spectrum, right? Did you kind of say?
Step up to the mic, baby. Step up to the mic.
I was going to have you introduce her first, so we have not met her yet.
Well, I would like to introduce the gentle woman, the one that inspired it all, and the one that makes me sleep well at night and wake up well in the morning. My wife, Miss Barriola, is in.
Notice he said wife. He did not say baby mama. Okay.
Yeah,
he doesn't even know that word exists. Okay.
I think my point was,
to meet you.
Thank you for having me here. I've been listening to you for years, and we're just big fans of you. But this sparked conversation with us, and I guess my question is, well, what is entertainment for us? Because it's like, well, how can we be entertained without touching on really sensitive, spaces in our culture? What happened just entertainment? Can we be entertained anymore? What entertains us these days? What's the last thing that you've seen that you were genuinely just like, wow, that was just a great show?
I got to think about that.
See.
No,
I saw
do
the
have to
movie
think
Red.
about that.
I like the movie Red with
I
Bruce
have to
Willis
think
and
about
Helen
that.
Mirren. That was great.
Reality. I've never liked reality shows.
Mm-hmm.
I just never have. I mean, from to me, they're not. They're not. When you say reality star, how you gonna be a star? When you're just doing yourself, right? And they say they're not scripted. But it's a misnomer with reality shows. They are scripted. It's not like maybe the Real World that first came on. You just do it, but they're scripted.
Exactly.
They're not really reality. So and then to me, they're not there to. It's got to be a moral somewhere. I got to draw something from it. And this is just. You're trying, I mean, I could watch this on YouTube and just pull up Hood to Hood and watch it. And some people say that's entertaining, but it's the worst of us. And you got to understand, when I talk to young people all the time, they say, Doc, which is nothing but negativity out there, negativity. And my battle before was against what's going on in the neighborhood, then even in the home. But now I got to battle it. Then I had to battle in the music. Now I got to battle it. There's no escape. So when they see me, they say, "Lady Estelle," I say, "Y'all are different." What do you mean I'm different? You did. I thought when I was a kid, everybody was like me, right? And they just cling to us, literally cling to us. Wait, let me tell you something. One day, Lady Estelle and I decided, we gonna dress up. I'm gonna come in looking like Lil Wayne. I'm sagging. I'm tatted up. I'm gonna go to some Halloween place and get myself. And she's gonna come in looking like whatever. Nicki Minaj. Oh, somebody. No, we gonna do it. We gonna come in, and they begged us. No, I'm telling, didn't they? Dr. Marshall, don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't. We don't want you to say we get enough of that. And I said, if you feel that way about us, how you think we feel about you?
It's because you're sacred. That's why they didn't want to see you like that. It's like we want a person. No, not you. If you go, who we got? It's because you're sacred. You're an example of sacred, if you ask me.
Wow, we were never elevated to that position. But if that's how they feel, and you know what? Because they see us like that, they treat us differently.
Right.
That's the other thing. What, a kid called her? Well, look, some new kid come in, and I don't know what this boy thought he was, but he used the B word. All the kids wanted to beat that boy down, beat this girl down. They were like, who you calling that? Because, because they don't see her like that. Everything about her, they regard her like that, so they wouldn't treat her at all like that. And if that's the behavior you want, then you have to regard yourself as sacred, that's what you've been doing the whole time. You said, that's not my lens. This is not my lane. And you get treated differently.
Yeah, if you put yourself out there how you want to be, present yourself how you want to be treated, for the most part, people respond to you in that way because you communicate, without even opening your mouth, by the way you move, the way you walk, the way you talk, what you have on. You've said so many things to people, and people respond to that, to that aura, that sacredness.
See, one of the things with the reality shows is it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for the participants to step up to a higher call.
Right.
But they don't. Because, see, they know that they're being watched all the time. And what's amazing is when they had a dialogue with the sorority sisters, those women, brilliant, articulate.
Brilliant. For sure.
You could hear the professionalism, the way they held themselves and the way they spoke. And then I watched the show, and I could see the head didn't stop wagging. I did not hear any of the inflections, the vocabulary, everything about it changed. And so my question was, who are you really?
Right.
Now, if I'm being watched, if the light is always on me, there are some things I'm not going to say or do.
Right. I think it's tough. They're put in crazy scenarios because you said that they exemplify this beautiful behavior. Normally, they're poised and sophisticated, but then the television comes on and that whole thing changes around. I think it's tough because I know a lot of women on these. Every time I flip a channel, I'm like, I know her. I went to school with her. I know her. I know this one. And they were those poised, sophisticated women, but it's not what's displayed.
No.
And I think they're put in compromising positions with producers, and they say, could you just do this? Oh, okay. And they break down, and the checks come, and the viewers come, and they get caught in this bubble. And then they sit back and they watch the viewing, and maybe it was recorded 3 months prior, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
They agree.
So they're on the blogs retracting everything, saying, "I am not this person." So then they try to kind of
they agree. Yeah, they've agreed. They know what they're doing. No, see, they know good and well what they're doing. They see this. They go in. This show is going to be like Basketball Wives. Well, then that's what it's going to be. You agree. And see, to me, I wouldn't even. I hate these shows. I do. Okay. But give me some balance. It's like the music. We talk about this all the time. If you're going to put that show on the air, put this on the air. Because to me, this is entertaining. You know why people tell me? Your show hella fun. Your show good. People tell me that all the time. People who watch this show. Y'all, what's up, fans? They watch the show and they tell me, man, Dr. Marshall, your show is good, man. They should have this show all over. And I say, so my point is the only lens that they see us and they're willing to risk us on.
Right.
That's the proven formula for them is this ratchet lens. And another thing, look, this is your wife. She ain't out ratchet, okay? Mm-hmm. Why can't she be on TV?
She is. She's actually a news anchor.
Well, then put her on the reality show. Put Michelle on. That's my point. You show this in prime time, and that's all you show all the time. Pretty soon, it's all about the lens. And see, that lens shapes policy. Mm-hmm. It shapes everything. It shapes laws. Half the reason they got these laws because they got these ideas about us that half the time aren't even true because of what they seen on the 11 o'clock news, now on television. Oh, it's crazy. Look, it's a diabolical plan that's been played out from day one. And the only chance you have is to stand up against it, but it's like we're helpless when it comes to entertainment.
Yes.
I just want to say not in the name of that is sacred.
Yes. We better go back to the phones because people don't believe us out of the discussion. But I got one question for you. I got one question. What's it like being married to a gentleman? Really, I don't want to get in your personal business, but what is it like being? I know he ain't perfect.
No, he's not perfect, but he is dedicated to being the best him, and he's dedicated to what he believes is his purpose, and so that's inspired me to be better. I think that's what a relationship is. When I see him on his grind and he takes risks by some of the things that you do it too. When you go out there and you set a standard and you say I believe in this. Not a lot of guys are doing that, so it's inspiring, and we're both in media, so I learn a lot from him, and you've seen him grow. It's been exciting to see him from going from college, doing this book, and then having a fan base. So it's just been inspiring. I'll sum it up by saying I'm motivated and inspired by him.
Hey, still look at the way he's looking at his wife. Get that on camera. So I know I got to go back. See, this is non-ratchet. I need a non-ratchet moment. Okay, this is ratchet. So what did you when you met her? What? Because you meet her. What was it? I just got to know. Let's make this a quick Valentine's moment. When you met her, what was it about her?
I'll tell it. He stared at me for about 5 minutes. We're in college, okay? So rewind. He's still a gentleman, but and I'm having a conversation. He's looking at me against the wall, arms, crossed, and just look. And I'm looking like, who is this? Who has the nerve just kind of stare at me, And so he basically drew me to him. He wasn't gonna approach me. He's just gonna look at me and basically say, "Hello, here I go." And so that's what started it. And then we just dated for a long period of time, and he was the man. I had to be careful. I had to be vet him a little bit. But
I bet he applied every lesson that he wrote about in the book.
He did. Over time, he did, and that was it.
Thank you both for sharing.
That's it.
Great. That's great. Wonderful. Thank you. Go ahead, man. Just do the book. Do Anatone. Be Anatone, everybody.
What a topic. I think there's a lot we have to quit. It's 2015 now. There's a lot we need to quit. We have to stop giving these producers content to produce. We have to stop displaying that type of behavior, and they'll have no shows to give.
So we gotta they can't build any prisons if we don't go in there.
100%, absolutely. And we have to practice being burial-esque. Men be gentlemen, women be gentlewomen. Grab the books, grab the books. Go on Amazon, Gentlewoman, learn about it. Burial-esque, and besides that, just start anew. It's 2015. We have to do different and stop supporting what you complain about. I see a lot of times, and I'm speaking to myself as well because I've watched some of these programs. For me, it's research. Mm-hmm. I'm viewing some of it for research. Other times, I'm watching a train wreck and for some reason enjoying it. I'm entertained.
Right.
But we have to stop supporting what we don't believe in and really stand firm on that. We did it with all these what's happening in the community and standing up for each other.
We can do it.
Let's transfer
it's not like
it
we can't be done.
Right.
We're doing it right now.
It's equally as important.
Because it struck enough of a nerve to say enough is enough.
Absolutely.
We got to do it all the way across.
And enough is enough.
Yeah, enough is enough. All right. Lady Estelle, you got it.
Is there anything sacred? That's the topic tonight. Does this have anything to do with what's good or right? With things that are precious or special indeed? With things one fights for or strongly believes? Black Lives Matter is the protest sign, yet reality shows put Black lives down. Always focused on showing the worst, with the newest disappointment, sorority sisters. College-educated women who took a stand to lift up the community, to give the homeless and helpless a hand. So is anything sacred? You said no. People don't value anything when money pays more. Things should be sacred. We lose our way, allowing money and fame to guide their way. Less than human. This doesn't represent me. Clearly not held sacred. Misuse of organizations flagrantly. The minstrel show of 2015, where reality shows continue showing the worst of black women. Celebrity obsessed, where anything goes. This has gone too far. Oh my, to these reality shows. Yes, sacredness still does exist, and it resides in each of us. We must stop it and let go of this ratchetness. And Street Soldiers wants you to see that your life is sacred. And please, stay alive and free.
Oh,
this is Lady Estelle.
Lady Estelle, I'm going to give you something on that.
Consider this.
That was great. That was great.
I am a Delta.
All right, well, I want to thank Anatole for stopping by. His lovely wife, beautiful. You guys got to come back. We're going to do a whole. Can you come back like Valentine's Day or both of you?
For sure.
Oh no, don't come back. Maybe the day after. No. I want to ask tons of questions. I'm going to ask you, do you do stuff? You'll be a great role models for couples the whole bit. We got to do it, and believe me, they need it. All right, we're out of here. We will see you next week right here. Martin Luther King Day show. Go see Selma. See you next week. You got homework. Bye.
We are the Safe Return Project, and we are live and free.